What's happening, everybody? Thank you for joining me. I am your host, Joshua Diaz. This is The Lab. Typically, I do late night shows on a different channel, but this is something that we talked about yesterday, last night, and it's something that seems, I mean, it's dominating, obviously, the news at the moment. And so I thought that we would just do it here and discuss it because, it's an absolutely crazy story, and it's just, something that no family should ever have to go through. I've rarely seen stuff like this. I mean, this is stuff out of a nightmare, like a Hollywood script or something, along those lines. And so it's just a really terrible situation. But and we talk about it here a little bit here on the lab, and we'll play some news clips. And I know that a lot of you have been following this show, or have been following this quite a bit, and I didn't really start following it until a day or two ago. And if you were to ask me if I would have known who Savannah Guthrie is, I would have probably told you no, and then I would have seen a picture of her and told you yes, because I wouldn't know her by name. But what a terrible thing, what a terrible situation to happen. And I know it's kind of fast moving. You know what? I'm not really, I'm not much of one, but I got to tell you that, as somebody who looks after an 82-year-old lady, my grandmother, it's, to me, I mean, this is just something that is just unfathomable, to be honest with you. And I'm going to play the plea from the family, and we can discuss that a little bit further here. So let me bring this up. Audio. It's great to see you guys too, and thank you for being here. I know it's late. All right, well, you're in the right place. Let me just make this a little bit bigger here. So this, I believe, was just released not that long ago. Today, I know that.
We want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She is funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief, we are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. And she needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us.
I mean, obviously they're talking to somebody specific. I wonder if they know who they're talking to. That's just kind of something I was thinking about. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing this, by the way. Do they know who they're talking to? I know nobody really knows the answer to that. I would guess they do. I mean, they're talking to somebody, but who? I mean, it seems very personal.
Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is.
So,
Hey, wait, why are you? But what are you doing? Why are you busted into this? I want to see the whole thing. Friggin' Cuomo, dude. No, I do. No, Dr. Gary's not on tonight. Sorry. Apologize. Just me. I know. Freaking disappointed. Give me a second here. Yes, I have heard. I have heard that the son-in-law was a person of interest, but I think that was reported on. think that was by Banfield. I think. I'll do this. I want to see what this says here. Yeah, Brian Enton's good stuff.
Disturbing discovery on the front steps of Nancy Guthrie's home. Blood. The 84-year-old mom of Today's Show anchor Savannah Guthrie vanished late.
I heard Ashley said that the brother-in-law was a person of interest or the prime suspect or whatever it is that you want to call him. But I don't. But then I heard that the sheriff's office came out and said, well, no, we don't have any persons of interest or suspects. But that video seems different.
Saturday night. And now, as accusations are spiraling on social media, the sheriff in Pima County is firing back, calling claims false information. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime.
And is it one of those things? Is it kind of one of those things where, well, you know, they don't want him to know, they don't want people to. And my other question is, in that video, the sister that was right next to her right, was that her husband that they were talking about? I'm curious about that. I don't know if that's who it is or not.
I'm Chris Stewart. Hey guys, real quick before we start this episode of On the Case, which is one of you can also click federal agents say that they are looking over.
Well, where's he at? Does anybody know where he is? Has anybody heard from him?
Over cell phone and digital data, trying to find her. They did say they're looking over cell phones.
Well, you're right. He wasn't a part of the video, but I mean, maybe they were just doing strictly her children. I mean, are those just her 3 children? Yeah.
Plural, and it's unclear exactly whose phones they're analyzing. Now, this is new video I want to show you. This is from News Nation, and this is what looks like blood found on the front steps of Nancy Guthrie's home near Tucson, Arizona. And you can see there does appear to be blood on the front steps of the house. You might look at this and say it appears to be the amount that someone might lose if they have like a serious bloody nose, but the Pima County Sheriff, they won't confirm this information and whether this was actually blood related to the case of Nancy Guthrie and what may have happened to her in the middle of the night between Saturday and Sunday when she did not show up for church. Now, the sheriff will confirm that they were able to find DNA that they submitted to a lab. They won't say what that DNA was, whether that DNA was blood, but they say the DNA does belong to Nancy Guthrie. Now, there's also another potential piece of evidence missing from Nancy's house that we'll talk about here in just a moment.
Nancy, a white female, 84 years of age, 5'2" medium build, powder blue. Thing after 2200 hours
Told not.
as of yesterday. Nancy has high blood pressure, pacemaker, and cardiac issues.
So what you're hearing there, that's the newly uncovered audio of what a dispatcher said when the call went out that Nancy Guthrie was missing on February 1st. We hear that dispatcher mention that Nancy Guthrie has a pacemaker, she has high blood pressure, and she has cardiac issues. You remember the sheriff of Pima County said she's incredibly sharp mentally, but physically she has some limitations where she wouldn't be able to walk 50 yards on her own.
Thank you.
Now the pacemaker,
yeah,
that also
thank you,
is a very key part of this story because it's helping put the timeline together of when Nancy may have been taken from her home. Now, as a reminder, the sheriff said that Nancy was taken against her will in the middle of the night. They say when they walked into her house, they realized what they were dealing with was a crime scene and that she did not leave that home willingly, that someone must have come in there and taken her from that home. Now, Fox News Digital says that the pacemaker that Nancy Guthrie had, that is synced.
Wait, did somebody say that What happened? Yeah, isn't the next press conference the next press conference is tomorrow, I believe. And what I heard was allegedly that the ransom note was like they have till Thursday to pay up or something along those lines. Who knows if the ransom note's real or not? But they said that they had until Thursday, and which is like wild that they have a scheduled press conference for that same day. Wasn't it Thursday?
To her Apple Watch. And the watch was still on the charger near her bed when deputies arrived at her home the next day. They also say they have her cell phone, which was found at her house. And that pacemaker, according to this Fox News digital report, synced to her.
What do you mean Monday? Like this coming Monday?
Watch last at around 2:00 in the morning Sunday. So here's what we know when it comes to the final time that anyone had seen Nancy Guthrie. And it brings us back to Saturday night. Law enforcement says it was between 9:30 and 9:45 in the evening that Savannah Guthrie's older sister, Nancy Guthrie's daughter, Annie, dropped Nancy off at her house after they had had dinner. Now, Nancy lives alone in this home north of Tucson, Arizona. Now, we don't know much about what happened next. Deputies were called at 12:15 in the afternoon on Sunday after Nancy didn't show up for church. She is very much a devout churchgoer. So when she was a no-show Sunday morning, that was a major cause for concern. The sheriff says that Nancy's family was first notified that she was missing around 11 o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
So the sheriff has been trying not to release too much information to the media over the last couple of days, but there has been a lot of speculation out there when it comes to this story. You have a lot of media outlets putting out pieces of information from anonymous sources that authorities have had to respond to. And one of those pieces of information that deputies haven't.
Yeah, and he's also a lizard expert, I heard, whatever that means, or that he studies lizards.
Confirmed, but they also haven't denied, are these alleged ransom notes that were sent to media outlets on Tuesday. TMZ was the first to report that they received one. Then you had several other outlets, including local TV stations in Tucson, saying that someone had emailed them a ransom note as well. So TMZ says that they received this note Tuesday morning, and the note reportedly demanded a specific and substantial amount of Bitcoin, millions of dollars of Bitcoin, be sent to a specific Bitcoin address. TMZ says they were able to verify that the Bitcoin address was real. And they also say that the note gives a deadline for the money to be sent and what TMZ calls an element of or else.
I agree.
So the sheriff's office posted this on social media in response to the amount of talk about these ransom notes, these alleged ransom notes that were being sent out to the media outlets. And this is what the sheriff had to say about it. Quote, "We are aware of reports circulating about possible ransom notes regarding the investigation into Nancy Guthrie. We are taking all tips and leads very seriously. Anything that comes in goes directly to our detectives who are coordinating with the FBI." So that's not a confirmation that these letters.
Wait, so what is it? So the presser's tomorrow, you're saying 11 a.m. or the deadline for one of the alleged ransom notes
are legit, but it's not a denial either. And then you have this morning, the Today Show reported that the ransom notes were not substantiated. TMZ also claimed that the note had specifics about an item that is specific to Nancy Guthrie. So that's one part of the story. We'll see what else comes of that.
Wait a minute. So the presser's at 11, but the deadline to pay is 11, or to send the Bitcoin? Kind of a moron.
As this investigation continues on. But I want to go back to this video that was shot by News Nation right on the front steps of Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson. Now, it's been noted that you can see this mount where something like a Ring doorbell camera would go, but the device itself, the camera, is not there. And it's unclear if that camera had been set up before the abduction or whether it was taken down by someone who potentially abducted Nancy Guthrie, or was it a piece of evidence taken by law enforcement? It's interesting that the sheriff would not answer that question when he was asked at a news conference.
Sheriff, we noticed that the camera on the front of the house is missing. Do you believe the perpetrator purposely took the
Is that Enton? I can hear his voice.
camera?
Don't know that. We're looking into that as well.
I do want to note, though, and anybody who has a Ring doorbell camera knows this, if she did have a working Ring camera, she would have an account that records on that camera, and then it gets sent up to the cloud. Deputies say they have Nancy's phone. The FBI says that they are analyzing phones, plural, but it's unclear whose phones they're looking at.
In terms of what the FBI is doing, we are providing the following support. Primarily, it's analytical and technical support in the following ways. We're downloading and analyzing cell phones, obtaining cell tower information, conducting interviews, and providing any and all investigative support that the Sheriff's Department needs. We're looking at this from every angle, but we need your help.
There's also a report that we do need to talk about today because it is making the rounds involving an alleged, quote, prime suspect in the case. So you have journalist Ashley Banfield on her podcast, Drop Dead Serious. And overnight between Tuesday and Wednesday, she dropped a bombshell in this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, she obviously could have, Eric, that's a great question. Yeah, she could have let whoever in, but at 2 a.m, you know, it sounds like she has health issues, and that I don't know many 84-year-old women that wouldn't be sort of discombobulated at that time. Somebody knocking on the door. I mean, I guess it's possible, but
claiming that she has an anonymous law enforcement source very close to this investigation, someone really in the know. And that source is telling her that Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law is, quote, prime suspect in this case. Now, that source also reportedly told Ashley Banfield that the back door of Nancy Guthrie's home was found wide open. Remember, you have blood on the front steps of the house, which law enforcement, they haven't really given any information about that. And then you have the back door to this home wide open. Banfield also says that sources reportedly tell her that blood was found inside the house. And on top of that, she claims that law enforcement have impounded the vehicle belonging to Annie Guthrie, who is Savannah's older sister.
Oh, I bet. I mean, and then I know Banfield reported this yesterday. And is she sticking by this after they just came out and basically refuted everything that she said? Is she sticking by that?
Sister, and remember, she was the one who saw Nancy Guthrie last because she was the one who dropped her off after dinner Saturday night between 9:30, 9:45. Now, that vehicle may have been the last place that Nancy was seen after Annie dropped her mom off. So that's obviously a major alleged development in this story if that turns out to be true. We reached out to the sheriff's office to see if there was any validity to that, and they released a statement, and it appears that they're pushing back and in some ways blasting the report. The department says, quote, "At this point, investigators have not identified a suspect or person of interest in this case. Detectives continue to speak with anyone who may have had contact with Mrs. Guthrie. Detectives are working closely with the Guthrie family. While we appreciate the public's concern, the sharing of unverified accusations or false information is irresponsible and does not assist the investigation. No suspect or person of interest has been identified at this time," end quote. So as the search for Nancy Guthrie continues, Savannah Guthrie has not made any public appearances. It's certainly not a surprise. You won't see her on the Today Show at 30 Rock as this search is continuing on. And she also reportedly is not going to be part of NBC's Olympic coverage. Yeah,
no shit.
In Italy, those games begin on Friday with the opening ceremonies that she was going to be hosting. She did post this, though, on Instagram, very powerful post on Instagram to her 1.2 million followers there. And it's a graphic that reads, "Please pray." And in the caption, Savannah Guthrie writes, quote, "We believe in prayer. We believe in voices raised in unison, in love and hope. We believe in goodness. We believe in humanity. Above all, we believe in him. Thank you for lifting your prayers with ours for our beloved mom, our dearest Nancy, a woman of deep conviction, a good and faithful servant. Raise your prayers with us and believe with us that she will be lifted by them in this very moment."
Wait, so let me see. Banfield went on with Megyn Kelly tonight, and yes, definitely sticking by what her reliable law enforcement insider told her about this case.
We need you. He will keep in perfect peace those whose hearts are steadfast, trusting in the Lord. A verse of Isaiah for all time, for all of us. Bring her home. Savannah Guthrie is one of the most recognizable faces in TV news. She's been the host of the Today Show since 2012. She grew up in Tucson, Arizona. She also went to college at the University of Arizona in Tucson. Now, she has two siblings. She has a brother and then her older sister, Annie, who we've talked about. Her dad died when she was a teenager of a heart attack, and she is incredibly close to her mom, and she's also incredibly close to her sister. She's spoken publicly about those bonds. Both of them have made appearances on the Today Show. And you take a look at this picture here. This is a picture that Savannah posted on her Facebook with her mom after Christmas this year. Now, it's unclear also who had access to Nancy Guthrie's home. She lived by herself, but when you think of some of the medical issues that the sheriff has said that she had, like, did she have home caretakers? Did she have people who came and helped with lawn work? That information isn't entirely clear. Again, we know that she was a regular churchgoer, and we know that she was incredibly close to her family and that her older daughter, Annie, lives in Tucson, and that they had dinner on the evening before Nancy Guthrie went missing. So there's just a lot of questions at this point. The sheriff is not releasing a lot of information. He holds this news conference on Wednesday where there wasn't a lot of major developments coming out of there.
Who sounds like me?
And the sheriff says, really at this point, they are going to be responding to breaking news if and when they give another update. Now,
well, I mean, I would guess if that was the vehicle that she was in, that she was dropped off in, but it's you wouldn't think that it would be a crime scene unless they thought a crime had occurred in that car. But look, it could be them just checking boxes and doing what they're supposed to do, or it could be something more sinister and they could have obtained the vehicle by a warrant. Who knows? I don't know. Where's the son-in-law at?
The fact that there were reportedly signs of forced entry in the home, that's been reported as well. That could tell you that it was someone who was not regularly at the house, but that would be speculation because it does not seem like there is a lot of information at this point, at least confirmed by authorities, of where they may be looking when it comes to this search. Then you have this big concern about the medication. The sheriff says that Nancy needs that medication and it could be life-threatening if she doesn't have it. It's medication that the sheriff, in fact, said that she could die without within 24 hours. And we have obviously gone.
Yeah, that's another thing that I don't understand, that the crime scene, I talked about this a little bit last night. I was completely shocked to know that the crime scene was released so quickly. But I don't know.
Beyond that time frame, now in our third day of this search, the sheriff did say that she has some physical ailments. We talked about the dispatch chatter where you hear about the pacemaker, the high blood pressure, but it's also important to note just how mentally sharp people who know Nancy Guthrie, how sharp they say that she is. Now, I want to put this up on the screen. This is the number that you can call if you're watching this, if you know of any information related to Nancy Guthrie and where she may be. It's the Pima County Sheriff's Department. The number to call, 520-351-4900. Joining us now to talk more about this case, private criminal defense investigator, also founder of We Are the Essentials, Billy Lane. Always great to have you on Law and Crime to break down these searches and where we're at this point. You know, for Nancy Guthrie, we're now, 3 days, 3+ days, since she was last seen and has been missing.
Really?
What's some of the evidence that sticks out to you at this point about where law enforcement may be looking?
I think the fact of the crime scene, that's where it all starts at, her home. Did the person have access to the home? Was there forced entry based on some reports I'm seeing? They're saying there was forced entry into the home. Did she know this person? Did she open the door for them? So all those clues are going to add up. And the fact that there is blood on the scene, we're assuming that it's more likely her blood, but there again, she might have injured her captor. And this may be a situation of some type of self-defense. These are very complex. And I think the most important thing here is that the police department is trying to keep information in-house about what's going on so they can keep the case.
All right. I don't really want to hear from Crocodile Dundee. All right. What do you mean? What's the latest?
However,
Let me see here. Hold on.
hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us.
We are following breaking news. Today's show anchor Savannah Guthrie with her siblings by her side, making an urgent plea for their mom to be brought home. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was allegedly taken from her home in the middle of the night between Saturday and Sunday, and no one has seen her since.
Okay,
Deputies say they have no
I'll
suspect.
grab it. Hold on. Give me a second. So what should I play? Should I play Enton or what is it? Okay, so law and crime. Hold on here.
Suspects at this point, but tonight we are seeing a lot of activity.
No, I think I'm going to play Enton. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but I'm going to do it anyway. I like his little.
So much for checking out my show. Really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. I'm still in Tucson.
Why do you keep saying JLR? JLR is playing the same stuff as everybody else, isn't he?
Covering just the awful story, the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie outside her house. This is her house right here, where I've been spending a lot of time. There's a lot of questions about, is there a suspect or is there not a suspect? Is there a person of interest or is there not a person of interest? Do police know more than they are letting on? I'm going to dive into all of that in this episode. I'm going to tell you everything that I've learned today. I'm also going to talk to retired FBI agent Maureen O'Connell, who has some information on what's going on and get her take on everything, and also show you everything that I've seen today. There's been more searches happening in the area for Nancy. I actually happened to just stumble on one of the searches, so I'm going to take you there in a minute. I was also over at Savannah Guthrie's sister's house, Annie Guthrie's house. I'll show you what it's looking like outside her house right now, where there's also a ton of media, and then give you a lay of the land in the neighborhood. A lot of you guys have messaged me like asking more questions about cameras and what the neighborhood is actually like here. So I'm going to take you on a sort of a tour of the neighborhood area. give you the latest. Also on the ransom threats, I've got some new information on the ransom notes, the alleged ransom notes. So I'll give you the latest on that. And again, also going to talk to Maureen. So I've got a packed episode,
and
latest on the Nancy.
Like, and I understand like the plea, from the family, but I mean, you got to understand, you're dealing with a sick individual that's willing to kidnap an 84-year-old lady out of her house in the middle of the night and demand money, Bitcoin, no less, give a Bitcoin address to do it. Stupidest thing I've ever heard. And anyway.
Guthrie disappearance coming up in this episode of Brian Ensign Investigates. All right, hey guys. So again, I'm outside Nancy Guthrie's house, and it's each day it just seems to get more mysterious. This whole thing, trying to sort through what's going on, what police may know, and sort of the latest. There's been a lot of questions about whether or not there is a known suspect. And I know there's been other reporting out there about a suspect. I don't have any, and you guys know I'm always totally transparent with you about what I know and what I don't know, and I never report anything that I'm not able to confirm myself. So I'm just like, I'm an open book with you guys. I don't have any information or any reporting or any information from my own sources about there being a suspect right now. It doesn't mean that there's not one behind the scenes, but I have no reporting on that. Yeah. So what I do know is that the sheriff put out a statement today.
Oh, what's up, Brian?
And this is what the sheriff's office said. It says, at this point, investigators have not identified a suspect or person of interest in this case. Detectives continue to speak with anyone who may have had contact with Mrs. Guthrie. Detectives are working closely with the Guthrie family. While we appreciate the public's concern, the sharing of unverified accusations or false information is irresponsible and does not assist the investigation. No suspect or person of interest has been identified at this time. So that is the latest from the Pima County Sheriff's Department. They're going to have another press conference tomorrow, or maybe we'll get some more information. I will say, in the past, I have covered other cases where police will not be so forthcoming with the media and the public initially, even if they have information behind the scenes. But needless to say, that statement was very, very clear that they're saying that they do not have a person of interest or a suspect at this time. So in terms of the latest on what's been happening out here, it's been relatively quiet here outside Nancy's house. There is private security now that's sort of keeping an eye on that.
Even if they did, and they probably have some idea of who they're chasing after. But then they're not gonna tell. Why should they?
House out here.
Ashley Banfield already did that.
And her daughter, Annie, lives about 10 minutes from here, where there's also a big media presence. I want to show you what it's like there. So this is Annie Guthrie's house, where she lives with her husband. And this is about 10 minutes away from Nancy's house. So it's pretty close. It's actually a very similar neighborhood in terms of just the houses are kind of spaced out. They're a little bit closer together here, but it's desert out here. It's out.
I wasn't ragging on him last night. But I was just shocked that the crime scene was released
out on the fringe of Tucson, and you can see there's a lot of media out here outside Annie's house who are all just waiting to see.
And that he was filming a blood trail. I mean, it was a little shocking.
See if she comes back. What's happening. The FBI was out here yesterday. I have that confirmed. And they were talking to Annie and her husband. So the media is just out here waiting to see if anything develops here outside the house. But yeah, it's a single story.
Here's the reality of this too. If this person gets caught, and when they get caught, whether she's alive or deceased, I'm not really an optimistic person in these kinds of situations. Is it possible that she's alive? Absolutely. But this person or persons, whoever's involved in this, is going to go to prison for life, no matter what.
Very kind of ranch style. You can see like everything else around here. There's a ton of cactus out in the yard.
Kidnapping somebody will get you life in prison.
And we don't believe anyone is home right now. So it's pretty quiet out here now. And again, this is just media out here. The neighbors have been coming out and asking sort of for updates and what's going on. Kind of give you an idea of what the neighborhood is like here. Again, the houses are spread out. Kind of a lot of land and space in between the houses. After I left, there was also some action there, which one of my colleagues got some video of. There, Savannah's sister Annie, and who we believe is her brother, came home to the house and then just went inside. So obviously, just a terrible situation for the entire family. There have been some reports that Savannah is staying with her sister there. We don't know that for sure, but we do know that Savannah is still in the area here, in the Tucson area. That's according to the sheriff. What's also interesting is with these ransom notes. So there were 2 ransom notes. One went to TMZ, and the other one went to a local TV station here in Tucson. What's interesting is that all happened yesterday, that we found out about it yesterday, but the sheriff is now saying,
well, look, according to Banfield, that the brother is the prime suspect. You know, I don't know that to be the case. And if it is, I mean, has anybody seen him?
that the night before, so not yesterday, which would have been, I'm getting my days mixed up. Yesterday would have been Tuesday. Monday night, the sheriff says that they found out about the one ransom note, I believe the one sent to the local TV station here in Tucson. And the sheriff actually showed the note and told Savannah Guthrie about the note and showed Savannah the note. That is what the sheriff is saying. What I find interesting about that is that, and the sheriff also made clear that they still don't know the
brother-in-law, excuse me.
legitimacy of the notes. But what I think is interesting.
Sorry, excuse me. Brother-in-law. Yeah, I see the brother. I saw the brother in the video. Excuse me. I apologize.
Is that he obviously thought it was important enough that he showed.
But when was the last time somebody saw the brother-in-law?
Savannah Guthrie the note, but we still don't know if the note is legit. We don't know if either note is legit, but we know that it described what Nancy Guthrie was wearing and also some details from inside the house. Whether those details are true and legit, we don't know. That's something I'm going to ask Maureen O'Connell about in a minute. I'm also going to ask her about her thoughts about whether or not there could be a suspect that police are just not being forthcoming about. So that's coming up in a few minutes, but I wanted to give you that update on the ransom notes. Also, when I was driving here to Nancy's house from Savannah's sister's house, I noticed there's still a lot of searching going on in this area. We saw the house.
Now, I'm just saying this, I don't know if he is, but if he is the prime suspect and he's not with her and he is legitimately the prime suspect, that is a bad sign. I'm not going to go into it, but that would be a bad sign. So,
helicopter up last night here for an hour, circling very, very low around Nancy's home, and then I saw them searching in a wooded area a little while ago. So I was just driving back over to Nancy's house, and you can see there's all of these sheriff's deputies from the Pima County Sheriff's Office that were all just out searching in this area, and they all just packed up to leave, and I'm really right behind.
Bitcoin can be traced through the blockchain. All transactions are public.
Where Nancy's house is. I'm going to walk across the street here and show you.
I've seen what he looks like.
And I was trying to explain to you guys yesterday, but there's all this like just empty area in between the houses out here in her neighborhood. So this is like a big just open area. Her house is back on the other side over there. But they were all just stopped here and searching. And this kind of goes back to us seeing the helicopter yesterday. There was a helicopter up over her house where they were searching. So I don't know if they're getting tips or what, but there's definitely still.
Also, that airplane or that helicopter that Enton talked about yesterday that was searching around, also a very bad sign. I mean, obviously they need to do it, but they're not just doing it for the fun of it.
Search going on in her neighborhood. All right, so clearly there's still searches going on. I showed you this drone video yesterday that shows kind of what the neighborhood is like from the sky and just how spread apart the homes are. But I also wanted to give you an on the ground look at the area right around Nancy's house. All right, so I just want to show you guys a little bit of the lay of the land with the neighborhood. This is Nancy's house here. And they now have security outside, but you can see all the media here in front of the house. And a lot of people have been asking me, like, what's it like around the neighborhood? What's it like next to the house? This is my team, by the way. This is Nick.
Hi, Nick.
And Mo. They're working like crazy out here. Appreciate them. But so anyway,
Hi.
That's Nancy's
How are
house.
you?
That's her driveway. And then you can see, like, everyone's like, oh, it's a neighborhood. But I mean, look right next to her house. There's just a lot of just wooded area. And I say wooded, I mean, it's cactuses, it's desert. Then you can see the next house next door is back behind the brush here. But across the street, there's just more brush. And when people are like, oh, you know, there's got to be a ton of cameras around. There's got to be traffic cameras right there. I mean, now you get an idea of why we're not seeing much video.
Well, it's the question. What do you guys think? Do you think the mom's still alive? If Banfield's reporting is accurate, and you know, I don't know if it is or it isn't, but if she is, or if it is, and the son-in-law is still hanging around somewhere, and he is the prime suspect. Not that I don't know that he is. Then it would seem that I don't know, something went awry.
Granted, there might be some traffic cameras down along the main drag that I saw, but there's no cameras right in this area. And even if houses have cameras like this one, you see how far set back they are from the road. And if you look at my video from last night, it's pitch black out here. I mean, there's no street lights or anything like that out here. Hey, how you doing? It's right back there. There are no cops there. Yeah.
Do you have any?
Do you live around here?
I do.
Yeah. So I'm on a live stream. I don't know if you mind me just talking to you for a minute. Yeah. What's your name?
I don't want to talk.
Okay.
Damn it, Enton.
Okay.
No, I just need to find the police. They're not here.
No. Did you know something?
Well, I have pictures.
What kind of pictures?
Well, we live in this neighborhood, but closer to First Avenue.
Okay.
We get a ton of people in here pacing these houses.
People casing houses?
Oh yeah, I have pictures.
Really?
I saw the tip line yesterday.
Can you show me? Do you mind?
Yeah, but not until I'll come back.
Okay, I'm right outside the front. You definitely find the police though. They're not outside the house, but I would go to the sheriff's office.
Well, no, that's a really big drive. But I'm going to go over to the other house because I know where that is.
Go over there. And there were also police just searching around the corner.
Corner where?
Gosh, I got my. It gets tricky
twisted
around
here,
here. Yeah, it does.
And see, that's why it's so incredibly hard to believe this is random.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in this neighborhood and I couldn't find it.
I thought she didn't want to talk, but she's talking.
My husband grew up just a little bit over there, and so he walks here all the time.
Well, that's what I was just saying on my video. I'm still recording, by the way. I hope you don't mind. But I was just saying on my video, people don't realize how, like, they think, oh, why isn't there more video? But there's no cameras around here. Or if they're on the houses, they're set back.
They're around.
Are they?
Yeah, they're around. People have them, but that's one thing over there that my husband, because our neighborhood is technically part of.
Yeah, the scheduled press conference is something interesting. But I don't know. Yeah, I hope you don't mind. She minds.
This one.
Okay.
This is just the older part. And people have cameras over there. I know one person who has cameras.
What the pictures you have, is it what kind of people walk? Like what?
There are people who come and ask for, do you want to buy solar panels?
Oh, yeah, that kind of
Windows
stuff.
washed, but they never have equipment.
Yeah.
And then there's a real weird situation that happened a while back. So I'm going to go.
Okay, go talk to police. Thank you. That's interesting. Yeah, I heard that woman there. People have been pretty friendly here for the most part. But so as you turn the corner here, this goes up back behind. This goes back up behind Nancy's house.
I would tend to agree with that, Debbie. But you know, that's just how newscasters work. That's the information age for you. That's what they do. And I think really the issue is whoever told her, the source. I mean, that's the issues. It's not her job to keep that in-house. It's the person leaking the information's job to. I mean, if that it's completely unprofessional and it shouldn't happen, but it does. It happens all the time.
So this is the house next to hers here. And you heard her just say that people have cameras, but I have not seen a ton of cameras. My producer yesterday spotted a couple. The helicopter that we saw up in the air yesterday was up kind of above this area here, circling for a while.
I mean, when you give information to a newscaster or a reporter or whatever, they're going to run with it. I mean, they're going to run with it. Like I remember there was a football reporter named Adam Schefter, and they were talking about hiring a new coach for the Cleveland Browns, and they said that Condoleezza Rice was going to be, and I think she was like Secretary of State or something. She was in the Bush administration. That Condoleezza Rice was going to get an interview to be the head coach of the Browns, and he said, you know, can I report that? And they said, yeah. And then guess what? They were messing with him the whole time. He reported it, and then the Browns came out and they go, we're not interviewing Condoleezza Rice.
Oh. I just wanted to walk a little farther back just to kind of show you the area back behind where Nancy lives.
I always found that funny. They trolled him bad.
The houses are really nice. So this back here would be back behind the house, back in that area right there.
He did. He reported.
So hopefully this
Shefty stupid
gives you guys a little more of the lay of the land. I showed you the drone video yesterday, but it would be easy at night to get in and out of here without like a camera, I think, being able to spot your tag or something like that. And there are only a couple ways in and out of the neighborhood, and it's kind of twisty and windy in here. I'm joined now by Maureen O'Connell, a retired FBI agent and host of the podcast Best Case, Worst Case. Thank you again for joining me, Maureen. I really appreciate it. I always appreciate all of your expertise and analysis of what's going on. The first thing I want to ask you is there's been reports out there about there being a suspect or person of interest. And the sheriff's office put out a pretty strongly worded statement today saying there is no suspect, there is no person of interest, and basically saying it was irresponsible. Those reports were irresponsible. Do you think that there might be someone behind the scenes and they just don't want to say it?
Yes, I think it's a very good.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably exactly what's happening.
Strategic move to keep all this stuff close to the vest. And Because you don't want to.
Yes, FBI Director Kash Patel is en route to Tucson. I'm sure some of you will like
scare
that.
them. You don't want their guard up. You don't want them building armor up around themselves. And, you've got to be pretty sure. So it's always a better course of action to just be conservative with the information that you give out.
No problem.
I think that the sheriff means well, but there's been a lot of information that's slightly contradictory, and it makes a lot of people feel like they're on a roller coaster. So we don't really want that. But more importantly, or most importantly, we want what's best for the investigation.
Now, look, I don't know what good the FBI director is going to do. I mean, sending agents out is one thing, but I don't know.
And I think what's best for the investigation is to just, you can speculate if you want, but let's keep it all above board.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing, and this just comes to mind because it's current for me. I've been going through, they've released all the Brian Koberger police reports from early on, like the first month after the murders. And one big part of those reports is like all these different suspects that they had and people that they really thought may have done it. And like people they were doing lie detectors on and doing DNA tests. And so it just makes me think, like, even if they think they know who it is today, that could change tomorrow, right?
Well, it goes back to what Jeff and I were saying yesterday, which is all these leads have to be, or tips have to be run to ground, whether or not you believe the person is good for it or not good for it. You can't leave that stone unturned, because you have to be able to say to the court that we exhausted all of our other resources and this is the person that we believe firmly, and these are the reasons why. Because the defense is inevitably going to come up with, hey, you didn't look at Joe Schmo and he was right there and people knew it and there's a photo of him right there. Yes, we did look at Joe Schmo and here's what we came up with. These are the reports. We actually, it's very important to do that kind of stuff.
Speaking of the ransom letters, we talked about this yesterday.
A 6.5-foot diamondback. Oh my God. I saw a video of a guy that got bit by one. Like it bit his middle finger. Dude.
Yesterday, there was one that was sent to TM.
Yeah, my email is joshuadynamite@gmail.com.
And there was one that was sent to a local TV station here in Tucson. And the sheriff has now said that that was yesterday that we learned about these. So that would have been on Tuesday. The sheriff has now said on Monday night. So we didn't even know that they knew about these ransom letters, but they knew about at least one of them Monday night. And the sheriff says that he showed Savannah Guthrie, Nancy's daughter, that letter on Monday night to see, I guess, what she thought of it. Hasn't legitimized the letter, but said that he did go and show Savannah. Why do you think he would have done that?
Well, he wanted her to see the description of her mom and what she was wearing. And also sometimes you want to look at the verbiage that's being used and the phrasing, and it's the way someone speaks is the way they write. He was probably gleaning, he and his investigators were probably gleaning as much as they could. Like, does this sound familiar? Is this in fact what she was wearing?
That wasn't my friend.
Do you recognize any of this, any of these phrases?
He got very sick.
Maybe there were some colloquialisms in there. Who knows? So he wanted to get a firsthand. It's always important to get a firsthand physical look at this to see if anything comes, top of mind to her about who may have written it or authored it.
Do you think it means, though, that it may be legit?
It's just part of the process of going through things to check them off the list to see if it's legitimate. You have to find out if that description of what she was wearing was in fact correct. I mean, there are certain steps you just have to take, whether or not you want to, whether or not you think they're right. I mean, they're just processes in place that make sense, that are tried and true in law enforcement.
Does the FBI you always hear, like in the movies, that they always say don't pay the ransom. Is that true?
No.
Is that no?
No. I mean, there are times they pay the ransom, but there are times let's just reverse engineer it. You always want a hostage negotiator there. you always want the behavior or the profilers there, because the profilers will know how to either poke the bear or push the offender in a different direction. Like if the offender is getting agitated, they can talk them down. So can a really good negotiator. But they'll say, hey, if you're trying to get this offender to come out, like there are instances where the profilers will say, call him stupid, make fun of him, because he's going to try to prove to you that he's not stupid, that he is strong, that he is. If you emasculate this person, he's going to come out and try to prove that he's masculine, or things along those lines. They're very, very skilled at that.
It's not so much poking a bear, it's poking a monster. I mean, this guy is, well, whoever this is, whether it be one person or multiple people, is sick. I mean, they're as sick as it comes to take an elderly woman who's not in good condition forcibly from her home is not somebody that's going to be reasonable. And they want Bitcoin on top of that.
So pay the ransom.
He said, this is not a person that's of sound mind.
I don't know. I would, we don't do it often, but we have done it.
It's sick. I mean, it's legitimately sickening.
And I'm sure there are successful cases, and I'm sure there are unsuccessful cases. I would say the victimology and getting to know the offender would probably be considered more important.
Something else new, there's reporting, this is from TMZ, that cops are probing a trespassing case and think a possibility of a link from that to the Nancy Guthrie situation. A suspicious man was seen lurking in someone's yard near Nancy Guthrie's Arizona home. This was several weeks ago, and police are now investigating the case to see if it's tied. There's an elderly man who spotted the trespasser at his Tucson home. It's about 10 minutes away from Nancy's house. And it's interesting, Maureen, I was out talking to a neighbor this morning who said the same thing, that there have been people lurking around a couple of people they saw lurking around the last couple of weeks. Do you think that could pan out into anything?
A couple of people lurking around, yes. My understanding was I only knew about that one person. And I would say that one person, if that were an isolated incident, would be a watered down lead. I mean,
most ransoms are like unmarked small bills dropped at a location, crap like that. Bitcoin, holy shit, Bitcoin.
Obviously follow it to its logical conclusion. But if it's just one person 10 blocks away who gets scared off when a motion detector goes on, that's a different animal than someone who is emboldened enough to break in, rip off cameras, drag someone from the house, all that other kind of stuff. Those are two different type of criminals. Now, definitely one could evolve into the latter, but it would take time. I think it would take time and a lot of criminal activity in between. Now that you're saying that it's a number of people, okay, now you have me interested. So now, that's all going to have to be looked into. But they'll have camera footage of that. And if these people saw that, it's my experience that the people have camera coverage of their property right around their curtilage, not so much to the road, as I mentioned earlier. But they should have screenshots of that they've shown their friends or neighbors or shared on the Nextdoor app if they do that there regularly, like we do every place else. And if that's the case, that'll be a quick wrap up or a new line of inquiry in the case.
Yeah, and you make a good point. I mean, someone lurking around maybe to like steal something, which I think kind of happens in every neighborhood, is a lot different than, going in and abducting an 84-year-old woman who can't walk very well. Was thinking about that a lot today. Just like how difficult. Yeah.
It's easy to say that now, but hindsight is really 2020.
It's not just a normal abduction. To take her was more difficult, right?
It's interesting when you have someone.
It's unfathomable. Okay, I will. Yeah.
You get punched in the face and you have an assault. That's one thing. When you have someone that breaks into a house to attack someone, wow, that's a whole nother level. When you have someone that breaks into the house, attacks someone, drags them out, they're bleeding, they disappear for days. We have no idea what's happening. These are extraordinary leaps in behavior. And when you said you thought about that guy in the backyard that was lurking, the point I was trying to make was that person was scared off when a light turned on. That's not the same type of personality that's going to be booting down doors, breaking in windows, ripping off cameras, beating up old ladies and dragging them off to God knows where. So, but if it's happened a lot over the last, if this person's been in a lot of people's backyard, it turns out to be the same person. Now you've piqued my interest. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I still think it's someone that has to have a better understanding of that house, the layout, when she's alone, if she's alone, the fact that she might have money, things like that. I don't know what the situation is with the family members, but the family members is that initial concentric circle that we talk about in security. We usually start with concentric circles and start with the closest one. So they had to go through the family members in order to get to where we are right now.
Well, and we saw the FBI, speaking of the family members, we saw the FBI out at Savannah's sister's house, Annie's house, yesterday. And they were out there talking to Annie and her husband in the driveway. Is that unusual, or do they just always kind of start with the family in terms of who to talk to?
Yeah, we're always going to start with the family because it's the person that knows them that may have the most to lose or the most to gain. That are the ones that generally, cause these crimes to happen.
Yeah.
Who's got something to lose? Is there money involved? Can
Right.
someone get some money from this person? They may have. I had a case,
Hey, Martha,
2.5 years ago of a brother and a sister.
Can you put that link in the chat again? I'm sorry.
That went to the mom and demanded their inheritance now. And I've actually seen an uptick in that type of behavior. So they said, Mom, why we don't want to wait till you're dead. We want you to give us our money right now. And what's the big deal? We're going to have to pay taxes on it. We can get more for our money now. And they were just nonstop on their mom, trying to get her to give them her inheritance. And she ended up just doing almost the opposite.
Interesting. I mean, statistically, though, it doesn't really, there's not normally just random people kidnapping old ladies, right?
No.
I mean, that doesn't happen.
Elderly ladies, Brian. Elderly.
If you're going to kidnap someone, do you really want someone that you have to actually physically carry around? No. I mean, you have to be, criminals, sophisticated criminals are strategic and they think things out. This sounds like a half-baked or an impulsive or very emotional situation that occurred.
Interesting. Today.
Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go.
Are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think everything's on the table. I mean, they're looking at all possibilities. I know that is probably one of the lamest things that can be said, but it's the truth. Until they actually have a suspect, and if they do not have a suspect, if they do not have a person of interest 4 days later, that's a huge problem.
And that you have her.
And this whole situation is a huge problem. But, I mean, for the return of her safely, a huge problem.
We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us.
We are following breaking news.
Because there will be no transaction without proof of life. So tomorrow's going to be very, very interesting.
Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie, with her siblings by her side, making an urgent plea for their mom to be brought home. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was allegedly taken from her home in the middle of the night between Saturday and Sunday, and no one has seen her since. Deputies say they have no suspects at this point, but tonight we are seeing a lot of activity at Nancy Guthrie's home. Investigators are back, and we will dive into what they...
Yeah, I cannot believe they took the tape down before that, and now it's back up.
May be looking for. We're on the case, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Please hit that like button.
Well, we wanted to come on
really would appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Tonight because there is a lot going on Wednesday night in the search for Nancy Guthrie in Tucson, Arizona. And for the first time since their mom was allegedly taken from her home, we are seeing the Guthrie children together speaking on video, seeing Savannah Guthrie, who understandably has not been on the Today Show since this story broke, sitting with her brother and sister side by side, pleading for her mom to be brought home. The video that was posted to Savannah's Instagram, it's about 4 minutes long. We see Savannah Guthrie clearly emotional with Annie, her older sister, on one side and her brother Cameron on the other. Here is that video.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind,
I hope so,
faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun.
I mean, honestly, should anybody besides law enforcement be going in and out of that house until there's some sort of resolution to this case? I mean, should anybody be able to walk up on the front porch and touch the doorknob and take pictures? And hell no. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Maybe they know something I don't about, I don't know. I've never secured a scene, but I would know that everybody needs to stay the F back.
An adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief, we are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
Now, there's a couple things to take away from that video beyond just, of course, the emotion you can see on the faces of Nancy Guthrie's children. In that video, you heard the Guthries reference the alleged ransom notes that had been sent to media outlets like TMZ and some local media outlets in the Tucson area that came over the last day or so. It's unclear if the Guthrie family received a note specifically, but you do hear them reference what they say are voices and images that can...
Well, why is she living alone? I mean, sounds like she's lived there since the 90s.
be manipulated when you think...
I don't know if you've ever tried to get an independent person to move in with you, but or, you know, come live with you or move them out of the house that they've lived in for years. It's not easy to do.
Of things like artificial intelligence. Now, deputies have not confirmed or denied whether these ransom notes that have been circulating are actually legit. TMZ was the first one to report about receiving a ransom note.
Of course it is. I mean, yeah, my next door neighbor lives alone. She's 80. She's 86. Now she calls me whenever something goes wrong. I take her trash out for her, but she still lives alone.
Alleged ransom note, let's just say, on Tuesday. And then the ransom notes started coming into local TV stations in Tucson.
My grandma wouldn't leave.
Tucson, Arizona, saying they came in through their email. So TMZ and the one that they received, they say came in on Tuesday morning. It reportedly demanded a specific and substantial amount of money in Bitcoin. They say millions of dollars to be sent to a specific Bitcoin address. TMZ says they verified the Bitcoin address to be real, and they also say that the note gives a deadline for the Bitcoin to be sent, and it also says what TMZ calls there was an element of, quote, or else. Now, the sheriff's office posted this on social media on Wednesday in response to reports about these alleged ransom notes being put out there, saying, quote, we are aware of reports circulating about possible ransom notes regarding the investigation into Nancy Guthrie. We are taking all tips and leads very seriously. Anything that comes in goes directly to our detectives who are coordinating with the FBI, end quote. And again, we don't know if the Guthrie family received some kind of ransom note that prompted the video that was put out on Savannah's Instagram tonight. Now, also on Wednesday night, there has been a lot of activity back at Nancy Guthrie's home, which is north of Tucson, Arizona. This is video that was shot by Brian Enton of News Nation, showing deputies putting crime scene tape back up at her home. And it also shows members of law enforcement searching the property. Reporters can see deputies are back inside the house. They're also in the garage looking for evidence. It is unclear what, if anything, changed that prompted law enforcement to return to Nancy Guthrie's home. Now, according to local and national news stations on scene, reporters spotted about a dozen local deputies and potentially the FBI there this evening. The Pima County Sheriff also posted this on social media as they returned to search Nancy's home and property, saying that the media staging area has been moved further away from the house, and the sheriff's
look, I'm not really sure the point that you're trying to make. I get it. You feel very strongly about it. The stuff you're saying is, to be quite honest, asinine. There are a lot of famous people, parents, who were not guarded 24/7. So, we got it. We get your point. It's fine.
office
Yeah, I mean, you're about to be blocked.
also says that this search is a quote follow-up, but they have not said anything more than that. We are expecting to publicly get statements from the sheriff, Chris Nanos, on Thursday. In a press conference on Tuesday, federal agents said that they were analyzing cell phones, but it is unclear whose phone beside Nancy's that they have. We do know they have Nancy's iPhone. Fox News Digital put out a report.
I mean, basically what you're saying is because they didn't have the forethought that it's Savannah's fault that her mother got kidnapped. That's sort of what you're saying.
Report saying her Apple Watch was still on the charger next to her bed. And from dispatcher audio, we know that she had a pacemaker.
That's exactly what you're saying. And that's a terrible thing to say.
All of those things could be incredibly critical evidence when you think of piecing together where Nancy Guthrie may be. The Pima County Sheriff is slated to give an update to the media.
All right. He's got to go. I hate doing that, but you got to go.
For the first time since Tuesday.
Oh, you're Karen. You're going to get blocked now. Sorry.
On Thursday, that's going to be held at 11 a.m. local time in Arizona. That's 1 o'clock Eastern. Then you also have on Wednesday, the Sheriff's Department pushing back on any report or speculation that they have a suspect in this case. The department released a statement saying, quote, "At this point, investigators have not identified a suspect or person of interest in this case. Detectives continue to speak with anyone who may have had contact with Mrs. Guthrie. Detectives are working closely with the Guthrie family. While we appreciate the public's concern, the sharing of unverified accusations or false information is irresponsible and does not assist the investigation. No suspect or person of interest has been identified at this time." Of course, anyone with information, if you're watching this and you have information on where Nancy Guthrie may be, you need to contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department. The number is 520-351-4900. Nancy Guthrie, she is 84 years old, and according to law enforcement, she needs medication. The sheriff said it could be fatal if she does not get this medication within 24 hours, and we are certainly far past that deadline. Now, the sheriff says that Nancy is also, she's incredibly smart. She is very sharp mentally, but the challenge is physically, she has limitations. The sheriff said she would struggle walking 50 yards by herself. We are going to continue to follow every step of this case, and that will do it for this breaking news edition.
All right. Let's see. Let me check something. Hold on, give me a second. See here. I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to play Megyn Kelly stuff, but I will. I want to hear the part about Banfield. I don't know. She might copyright, so that would kill the entire stream. Let's see here. Ban. All right. Let's see here. See what Banfield had one, what, an hour ago?
Last episode, I have a very high level law enforcement source that gave me quite a bit of information on the Nancy Guthrie case in Tucson, Arizona. And there's been a lot of backlash. I understand it. I get it. Whenever information like that comes out, been to this rodeo before, seen this happen before. Just quickly, if you missed it, a couple of things I was told by, again, a highly placed law enforcement source that the Nest can.
I think that this just, let me see, this is an hour ago. So this is brand new.
Plural on Nancy Guthrie's home were smashed. Not just one, not just in the front, but two of them smashed. Back door left wide open, blood in the house, as well as you saw Brian Enton from News Nation's reporting blood was found outside the house at the front door on those tiles out the front door. The other big news that my source told me that Nancy Guthrie's other daughter, Annie Guthrie's car was towed and was in evidence. And that also, and this is the important language, and this is the language that I've been reporting, that the son-in-law may be prime suspect now. So I have said over and over again, law enforcement always reserves the right to change their minds and change direction. They did that with Ed Smart. They did that with John Benet Ramsey. They did that with Richard Jewell. They've done it with a lot of people. But as of now, my source said that is the prime, maybe the prime suspect is the son-in-law. Then you probably saw the news that the sheriff put out the next day after I released that information. At this point, I'm reading from Sheriff Chris Nanos's release. At this point, investigators have not identified a suspect or person of interest in this case. Detectives continue to speak with anyone who may have had contact with Mrs. Guthrie. Detectives are working closely with the Guthrie family. While we appreciate the public's concern, the sharing of unverified accusations or false information is irresponsible and does not assist in the investigation. No suspect or person of interest has been identified at this time. I'm well aware that no suspect had been identified to us publicly. This is inside information. And so, again, from an extraordinarily reputable, highly placed source. And to that, I just want to tell you, I have had this happen.
This is from an hour ago.
And before, many times. I'll take you back just a couple of years to 2022. Moscow police on December the 19th, 2022, made a definitive connection between the DNA that was found on the knife sheath used at 1122 King Road and left behind. They made the connection to a man named Brian Koberger again on December 19th, 2022. On December 20th, the next day, the Moscow police chief recorded a video and posted it on the Moscow police website, the Facebook page. And let me read for you what that statement said. No suspect, parentheses S, so suspect or suspects, has been identified, and only vetted information that does not hinder the investigation will be released to the public. We encourage referencing official releases for accurate and updated progress. So again, they had Brian Koberger identified as a suspect on the 19th. They connected that DNA to him. And on the next day, they said, no suspect or suspects identified and only vetted information that does not hinder the investigation will be released. By the way, I should also note that for 2 weeks before he was arrested on the 30th of December, there were FBI surveillance teams that had traveled with him, surveilling him all the way back from Pullman, Washington to his home in Pennsylvania as he drove with his dad. So yeah, they had their eye on a man named Brian Koberger and were still releasing
Yeah. But I mean, that's that case, and this is this case. They're two different things.
Definitively, no.
I don't know why everybody wants to base it off of what's happened in the past.
Suspects identified. So it's like I said before, I have had this happen before. I've seen it before. Does that mean they have the right to change their minds and have somebody else in their sights? Absolutely. But at the time that I got this information, this was what was being said within the investigation. Son-in-law may be prime suspect. Okay. I want to go back to a couple of other things that are so big today, and that is the heartbreaking video that was released by Savannah Guthrie and her two siblings. It is hard to watch. This is a woman who is in the worst torment of her life. Her mother is missing. There is blood outside the house. There are FBI agents all over the place, both in her sister's house and in her mother's house. They are collecting all sorts of boxes and items from both houses. I'm going to show you that video, and I'm going to tell you who's reporting those things as well, reputable news sources, and video that shows it. So this has been a very, very hard time for Savannah and her siblings. This is the video that she put out today.
All right, we saw this.
We want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them. And we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She is funny, and spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
I wouldn't say that it's Ashley that is being reckless. I would think it's more whoever the leak is or whoever's feeding information. That's reckless.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief, we are always going to be merely human. Just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She's 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
So you should know that the reporting that's come out over the last 48 hours is that TMZ released first that they'd been emailed a ransom note. They turned it over to the FBI. They had not heard back from the FBI about the processing of it. KOLD, a local station in Tucson, also reported they had been the recipients of some kind of ransom communication, as well as KGUN, another Tucson local station. And the reports of the contents have included requests for millions of dollars in Bitcoin, as well as details about the crime scene. That has not been verified, that those details are accurate. And also clothes that Nancy Guthrie was wearing. The sheriff's department originally said on Monday they had no idea what Nancy Guthrie was wearing when she was taken, when she was kidnapped. That's the word they used, kidnapped. So the ransom notes have made a lot of news today, especially since Savannah and her siblings referenced those ransom notes. Brian Enton reported around 4 o'clock today, and again, I'm recording this on February 4th, that Savannah Guthrie had been shown the ransom notes. In her video, she said she heard of ransom notes. She also, appealed to our better senses that there are so many false images and false narratives that can be manipulated when it comes to video, etc. Whether that meant she'd seen some pictures or not, her message was clear. She and the family are ready to talk to whomever might be behind this, but they need proof of life. They need to know their mom is alive. So this was a big pitch to the potential that these ransom notes may be legitimate. There are many schools of thought that they're not, that this is someone in Myanmar trying to make some money on Bitcoin, or that this is someone crazy trying to insert themselves and create mayhem. There are crimes that are associated with that. And if they can find them, they will be prosecuted. Or this could be a red herring from the person who actually did take Nancy. A red herring to deflect from what happened, or maybe an effort to make money. It could be.
Little known fact about a red herring is that they would use it to throw off scent dogs. They would use the red herring fish to throw out scent dogs because of its unique and pungent smell.
Those scenarios. Nobody's weighing in on.
Just in case you didn't know where red herring came from.
On what those, which might be, or any might be accurate. And I want to bring up, the issue of my reporting again, and something more that I have learned today that is adjacent to this. First, though, as always, I am very thankful that you are a part of this podcast. I'm thankful for this community. The reason you're here is the reason I can be here, and my sponsors help as well. Let's talk about something important: your health and your well-being. If your gut is off, everything is off. Your digestion. So thank you, kids. So it's a little treat. 30 days. We're 20% off. You're welcome. See the difference today. Just Thrive. A day after I received my information and I published. I also received information that the Sheriff's Department in Pima County got very locked down, and that there was an effort, Sheriff's Department wide, to clamp down on the possibility of leaks. To which I say, well, if my information wasn't accurate, then it wasn't a leak. If it wasn't accurate, it's not a leak. If it is accurate, maybe it's a leak. And this clamp down and this consternation among the department was palpable today. What does that mean anything? I'm just giving you the facts of what my source has released to me. And to this point, I just want to tell you something. I had a conversation today with Megyn Kelly on her podcast about the way journalists and law enforcement often have push-pull and work on these scenes, especially when there are gag orders and investigations that are underway, and there might be some obfuscation, etc. This is the conversation I had with Megyn about that.
Okay, last question, Ashley. The sheriff, Chris Nanos, the one that we've been discussing, actually issued a statement, apparently in response to your news, that reads as follows. At this point, investigators have not identified a suspect or person of interest in this case. Detectives continue to speak with anyone who may have had contact with Mrs. Guthrie.
Yeah, it's semantics. I mean, we're playing word games here. They haven't identified one publicly. That's what it means.
Guthrie. Detectives are working closely with the Guthrie family. While we appreciate the public's concern, the sharing of unverified accusations or false information is irresponsible and does not assist the investigation. No suspect or person of interest has been identified
publicly
at this time.
Publicly.
Which is not exactly a denial of what you reported.
No shit.
But seems aimed at you. Your thoughts on it?
Of course it's aimed at her. She's the only one that said it.
That I've had it happen a million times, and they don't want to release that publicly at this point. They're not naming him publicly at this point. That's how I look at that. Listen, I said very carefully, may be prime suspect at this point. I did not say they've got their suspect at this time. That's not what my source said. Source says that he may be the prime suspect at this time. And I understand that. I understand that they're doing their work and they want to probably keep him talking. You know how it works. The minute somebody stops talking and they get a lawyer, it's harder. The work is a little bit harder. Again, my great thanks to Megyn Kelly and the Megyn Kelly Show for letting me show that clip of us today. Also want to tell you a couple things that happened. And Brian Enton has been just way out front on so much of this reporting. Right around the 4 o'clock hour, as he was live on the air, he said, there's just a lot happening all of a sudden. Multiple law enforcement officers showed up in their vehicles, got out, and started searching around the back of Nancy Guthrie's home in the Wilds area. And there's a lot of like cacti and all sorts of stuff. It's very rugged out there, but they started doing what he called grid searching almost. That was around the 4 o'clock Eastern hour today. Multiple cars, multiple officers. At around the same time, in the 4 o'clock Eastern hour,
This is a repeat.
Witnessed at Annie's house, which is about 4 miles down the road.
All right. Well, I guess we'll end. All right, guys. Well, I don't know if it's a repeat or not. I keep telling, yeah. And there were other people that did lives about the show today too. I don't know. Anyway, I appreciate you being here. Catch you guys next time.